The President of the United States just confirmed a military strike before his own government did. We hit them. No warning, no briefing, no official statement, just two words that sent shockwaves through Washington. But here's what no one is telling you. Who was the target? We don't know. Where did this happen? Unclear. Was this a CIA operation? Reports say yes, but the agency won't confirm. And why? Why would a sitting president reveal something like this before the Pentagon, before the intelligence community, before anyone? What is the White House hiding? What does the CIA know that we don't? And what really happened in the hours before Trump stepped in front of that camera? Because right now, there are more questions than answers, and the people who should be talking aren't. This story is just getting started. Let's talk about what happened next. Or rather, what didn't happen. After the president made that statement, the normal chain of confirmation should have kicked in. The Pentagon usually follows up. The State Department issues guidance. Intelligence officials brief select members of Congress. But this time, nothing. No press conference, no official readout, no background briefing for reporters. Just silence. And in Washington, silence like this doesn't happen by accident. It's coordinated. It's strategic. And it usually means someone, somewhere, is trying to control the narrative. So what are they controlling? Was this strike authorized through normal channels? Or did it bypass the usual oversight? Did Congress know? Did the Gang of Eight receive advance notice, as required by law for covert operations? And if this was a CIA drone strike, as multiple reports suggest, why is the agency staying quiet while the president speaks openly? These aren't small questions. These are the kinds of questions that have brought down administrations. Let's break down who we're talking about here. First, the president. Donald Trump has never been shy about claiming credit for military action. But even by his standards, this was unusual. Confirming a strike before your own defense apparatus does? That's not bravado. That's a breach of protocol. Second, the CIA. If this was indeed a drone operation run by Langley, it falls under Title 50, covert action. That means it's supposed to stay hidden. The whole point of a covert strike is deniability. So why would the president blow that cover? Third, the Pentagon. Notably absent from this conversation. No generals stepping up, no spokespeople clarifying. The Department of Defense has been remarkably quiet, and that raises its own set of questions. And fourth, Congress. Under the law, covert actions must be reported to the Congressional Intelligence Committees. But several lawmakers have already gone on record saying they were not informed in advance. So either the law was followed and nobody's talking, or it wasn't followed at all. Which one is it? Here's what most people don't understand about how Washington works. When something big happens, a strike, an operation, a mission, there's a rhythm. Agencies coordinate, lawyers review, talking points get approved, and then, only then, does the information go public. That process exists for a reason. It protects sources, it protects methods, it protects American personnel in the field. But when the president speaks before that process is complete, everything falls apart. Now you have reporters digging, foreign governments reacting, intelligence officers scrambling to assess the damage, and the agencies? They go quiet. Because what else can they do? They can't contradict the commander-in-chief, but they also can't confirm something that was supposed to stay secret. So they say nothing. And that nothing? That's louder than any press release. Let's be clear about what's really at stake here. This isn't just about one drone strike. This is about how America conducts its most sensitive operations, and who gets to talk about them. For decades, there's been an unwritten rule. The president authorizes, but the president doesn't advertise. Covert means covert. You don't take a victory lap on something that's supposed to be invisible. But that rule seems to be breaking down. And when it does, the consequences ripple outward. Foreign allies start asking questions. Can they trust the U.S. with sensitive intelligence if the president might reveal it on camera? Adversaries take notes. They study patterns. They learn what triggers American action and what doesn't. And inside the intelligence community, morale takes a hit. Officers risk their lives to gather information, run assets, execute missions. And then they watch as operational security gets tossed aside for a headline. That's not just frustrating. That's dangerous. So why should you care? Because this isn't just a Washington drama. This affects national security in ways that most people never see. Every time a covert operation gets exposed prematurely, it puts lives at risk. Sources who provided information, officers who planned the mission, allies who helped behind the scenes, and it sets a precedent. If this becomes normal, if presidents start routinely confirming strikes before agencies do, then the entire framework of covert action starts to crumble. That framework exists to protect America, to allow the government to act decisively without tipping off enemies, to give the intelligence community room to operate in the shadows, where some threats can only be addressed. When that framework breaks, America becomes less safe. Not overnight, not in obvious ways. But slowly, steadily, the advantage slips away. And the people who want to do this country harm, they're watching, they're learning, and they're adapting. So where does this go from here? There are a few ways this could play out. The White House could clarify. They could issue a statement, provide context, explain what the president meant. The strike gets officially acknowledged and the controversy fades. But that hasn't happened yet. And the longer the silence lasts, the less likely that outcome becomes. Congress could demand answers. The intelligence committees could launch inquiries. Subpoenas could start flying. And suddenly, this becomes a much bigger story. One that drags on for months. Or everyone moves on. The news cycle shifts. Another crisis takes over. And this incident becomes just another unanswered question in a long list of unanswered questions. But here's the thing about unanswered questions in Washington. They have a way of coming back. Maybe not today, maybe not next month. But eventually, someone talks. Documents surface, and the truth, or something close to it, comes out. The only question is, how much damage gets done in the meantime? Here's where we are right now. The President of the United States said, "We hit them." Reports point to a CIA drone strike, but the agency won't confirm. The Pentagon won't comment. And Congress says they weren't told. We don't know who the target was. We don't know exactly where this happened. We don't know if the proper legal channels were followed. And the people who do know, they're not talking. This is the part of the story where normally a reporter would tell you what it all means. But the truth is, we don't know yet. What we do know is this. Something happened. Something significant. And the official silence around it is unlike anything we've seen in recent memory. When the most powerful government on earth goes quiet, that's when you should start paying attention. Because whatever this is, it's not over. Not even close.